Let me start with a confession. I've never really liked gaming chairs. They just don't really make sense to me, as they are generally bulky looking and, more importantly, often leave a lot to be desired in terms of ergonomics. So when Fractal Design released the Refine chair and called it a gaming chair, I have to admit I was kind of skeptical. But after using it almost every day for over a year for work, editing sessions and just regular desk life, I must admit I have been pleasantly surprised. That said, there are a few things I wish I would have known beforehand. And those are things I think you should know too when deciding whether or not to buy this chair, and if so, which version to go for. Because with this chair, the material choice affects more than just how it looks. The chair comes in several different material options: fabric, mesh, and the more exclusive Alcantara version. I went with the black and grey mesh model, mainly because I generally prefer mesh chairs, as they tend to stay so much cooler during long sitting sessions, which is especially important if you spend a lot of time at your desk. Working as an automation developer, that's very much the case for me on a day-to-day basis. The mesh, which Fractal calls nylon reinforced mesh, is a bit stickier than other mesh materials I've tried before. At first I was kind of skeptical, but once I got used to it I realized that the extra grip actually helps prevent you from sliding forward and gradually ruin your posture during long sessions. Something I have experienced with several other office chairs over the years. So the stickiness is actually a good thing in my opinion. But the material choice affects more than what meets the eye. The actual dimensions and adjustability options for both the seat and the armrest actually differs between the mesh and fabric versions of this chair, which honestly is kind of a strange design decision. However, most of these differences won't matter for the majority of people, except for one, which is seat depth. And while the mesh version maxes out at a depth of 50.5 centimeters or 19.9 inches, the fabric version is about 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch shallower, reaching a maximum depth of 48 centimeters or 18.9 inches. And to be honest, that's not an insignificant difference. I'm 190 centimeters tall and weigh about 83 kilos or 183 pounds, and the seat depth on the mesh version is just about perfect for me. But I can definitely see how losing 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch on the seat depth could actually make a noticeable difference for many people out there. If you are tall like me, or if seat depth is something you are particularly sensitive to, I would strongly suggest you go with the mesh version of this chair. In terms of overall comfort, I haven't experienced any pressure points or discomfort on my thighs even after hours of use, and that's a very good sign. Speaking of dimensions and adjustments, this is where this chair really stands out compared to most gaming chair competitors. It offers a ton of adjustability options, which makes it clear that this is not your typical gaming chair, and I would even go as far as to argue that this is more of an ergonomic office chair with a gaming chair inspired design. And that design is very typical Fractal. It's clean, minimal, no flashy logos or bright contrasting colors, and I really like that. The armrests are adjustable in almost every way imaginable. Up, down, forward, backward, in and out. You can even adjust the overall width under the seat if the armrest adjustments aren't enough themselves. Fitting different body types and desk setups really shouldn't be an issue. There is one minor inconvenience though. While most directions have a locking mechanism, the forward and backward movement doesn't. And because there is very little resistance in that direction specifically, I've actually experienced a fair number of accidental adjustments over time. I actually experienced the same accidental adjustments on my Herman Miller Aeron, which cost several times more than this chair. So it's really nothing out of the ordinary. It's not a deal breaker in my opinion, but definitely something you should keep in mind. That said, a locking mechanism which already exists for all other adjustments would definitely have been preferable. There is also a slight difference in armrest adjustability between the mesh and fabric version, but we're talking about 1 to 1.5 centimeters or 0.4 to 0.6 inches in both height and width. And since most people will still fall somewhere in the middle of these ranges anyway, this really shouldn't affect your material choice. The backrest provides good support and, as with any mesh chair, offers excellent breathability. It can be locked in a total of 11 different positions, once again reinforcing that idea that adjustability and ergonomics were kind of key priorities when designing this chair. Another nice detail is that the seat and backrest move together as you you recline, which keeps the chair supportive throughout the entire motion. This kind of synchronized movement is usually something you see on much more expensive chairs, and it makes a noticeable difference compared to chairs where only the backrest moves. The lumbar support is a bit too firm for my personal taste, but it does provide good support overall. However, there is one potential issue you should be aware of. When applying significant pressure to the lumbar area, it is possible for the lumbar support to actually slip back to its lowest position. For me personally, this has actually never been an issue during normal use, but after I read some comments online saying that this was the case, I intentionally applied pressure while leaning back and I was able to replicate the issue. So I reached out to Fractal Design about this and they were quick to send out replacement parts. Unfortunately, I was able to replicate the same issue with the new lumbar support they sent out. It's definitely not a deal breaker for me personally and likely something Fractal can improve over time, but nevertheless it's worth keeping in mind. Moving further up, we have the headrest, and honestly, it's kind of my favorite part of this chair. The memory foam inside is super soft and supportive, and it's especially nice when you want to lean back after a long day of work and watch a movie or play some games. You can also adjust it quite a bit vertically, and you can also remove it entirely if you want to, though I'm not sure why you would unless you're cleaning it. And speaking of cleaning, there's actually a zipper on the headrest that lets you remove the fabric cover entirely, which is really convenient when you want to clean it. At the bottom of the chair you find the wheelbase, which is made of metal and feels very premium. The hubless wheels add to that premium impression, and by the way, they have been rolling smoothly with no issues on my low pile carpet here at my home office. The chair comes with a 5-year warranty on the mechanical parts and a 3-year warranty on soft parts like the fabric, mesh and the headrest. But considering that even some budget-friendly IKEA chairs offers warranties up to 10 years, I would have liked to see a longer warranty time here. That said, the chair feels very well built and mine still looks almost brand new after more than a year of daily use, which is definitely reassuring. So where does all this leave us? Well, if you care about ergonomics, comfort and the clean minimalist design, and you're okay with the few quirks I mentioned, I would say that the Fractal Design Refine chair is still a very solid option in 2026. The chair retails for around $600, which I do think is a fair price given the material choices and the sheer amount of adjustability on offer. I have also seen it discounted during various campaigns since its release, so if you keep an eye out, you might actually be able to pick it up for less than the $600 price tag. If you want to check the current pricing, I've left a link in the description below. And that's it for this one. I hope you found this review helpful, and if you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up for the algorithm. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to subscribe to the channel.